Hey guys, Danny Johnson here. Today I'm going to show you how to install one of these Gladiator shelves. I got a real good deal on this over at Lowe's. Home Depot's having the same sale for Black Friday. They're usually $300 and they were down $120. So $179, $180 is what I paid. So anyway, they're good quality, and I'm going to show you how to put them together with a few tricks that I found along the way, and give you a quick review when we're done of some of the things I liked and some of the things that I didn't. So I went ahead and laid everything out. You almost really do need to open the bottom and the top of the box to get everything out, unless you want to stand it up and let it slide out. But what it consists of are the doors, the side panels, the back panels, which are labeled AAA through EEE. Then you have your shelves that go in the middle. Two of them have magnets, one does not, and that's very important later on. And then you have the top and the bottom. The hardware is actually very simple. It looks complicated at first, but you only really have big screws and little screws, and then a few big nuts for the back and some smaller nuts for the back. And that's about it. So go ahead and take the bottom piece, and you can tell it's the bottom piece because it has where the feet are going to screw in from the bottom. And then you're going to go ahead and stand up one of these long pieces, and be careful that all the screw holes are on this top side. Okay, then just take two of your bigger screws and get them started on that corner. Don't tighten them all the way. And then we're going to do that same thing up top here. And notice, this has the Gladiator symbol. That goes on the front. And right now, all the holes that go around the top are for the back side. So you want to take the Gladiator symbol and have it be pointed downward as you line up this side, and pretty much do the same thing. Just line these two screws up and put two of these big screws in the front. Next, repeat the same thing on the other side so that you have the other panel going through with all the holes. And they do, just remember this fits on, this piece here is on the inside. This side goes on the outer side, and it's the same on the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and very gently just start these screws as well. We're not tightening anything down yet. Just start two here, then the other two on that top side. Okay, so we have screws in all the corners there. That's pretty much holding it together. Nothing's tightened down too much. Now we're going to go here on the sides, and you're going to find these big holes here, and you're going to use a big screw coming in from the front here. Do that on the top and the bottom here. And then on the back side, I'm going to go ahead and put on the bigger nuts. And just do that on each corner. Those same ones are on each corner. These ones are kind of on the reverse side that you'd have to find. But anyway, put all those on. Now that we have the screws in all the top corners and going into the sides, we're going to do the bottom side. So we're just going to lift it up onto its side and put those last screws in. Just remember, everything should not be tight right now, just pretty much snug down. Okay, so I just flipped it up this way. Now I'm coming to these screws that are on each corner that we haven't done yet, and going ahead and just putting them in. And these, once again, do not require any of the washers, they just screw right in. So I'm going to go ahead and put them in all four of these corners. Now I'm going to go ahead and go around and tighten all of these. And I'm going to start with these ones on the front face. This is a 3/16 Allen. The kit comes with a hand tool that you can use. But if you have this, you can go ahead and it'll speed up the process quite a bit. So go ahead and tighten everything that you've put in up to this point. Then we're going to lay it back flat on the ground. Okay, so I laid it back flat where it's on its face. And remember, you have to have all the holes on the top here going up and down. And now I'm putting on the paneling. And according to the instructions, you have to do them in this order. You have to put the AAA on, then move down to the B, 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 and C, D, E, etc. So you just go around, and now we're taking the small screws and we're just putting them in the back side here. So these panels just go flat onto the back, and then you just want to screw them in. So start with A, then you want to line up the B one that goes right below it, and then just put each of the panels on and just put screws in the backs. Okay, so I have panels triple A, B, C in, and I've just put the screws in finger tight. So here's D coming along, and it slides underneath and into the C panel. That's how all the holes line up. I'm going to go ahead and install this one, put the screws in finger tight, and then finish with our E panel at the bottom. All the screws are in, and they're just hand tight, so I'm going to go back through and tighten all of them. I did have trouble with both this cabinet and the last one where this panel slightly covers up one of these bigger bolts. So on this one I actually just took it out. I'm going to try to get that to line up better. As you see, it overlaps this bolt just a little bit, so maybe that's okay, but just keep that in mind and go ahead and tighten all these down. Next, I'm coming in the bottom and screwing the feet in. Just remember that garages are sloped for water to flow out of them. So, for example, on this cabinet that I installed, I have the front feet down a little bit farther so that this is actually tilted backwards, because you want the cabinet to close on its own. You don't want it to fall open on its own. So I have these ones out a little more and the back ones in a little more. Now go ahead and put those feet on. Then we're going to stand this up. So now with this standing up, we're going to go ahead and install the shelves. You'll notice that 2 of the shelves have magnets on them. The third does not. And the third one needs to go in the middle. And the reason why is it has the little slit right here for the locking mechanism. Now, it's very important that this goes in just the right spot. It has to be the middle shelf. And so you're going to count these holes from the top and the bottom, and there are 7 of them. And so you're going to count 1, 2, 3, and the 4th one is going to be the middle one. And then you should be left with 3 others. Okay, so I'm installing that first shelf. Remember, it does not have the magnet on it, and it's going right in the middle. Now, something you can do, if you want to have this laid flat on its back, that might be easy for you. What I'm doing is I'm putting the screw through on this side and the nut on this side. We're using the smaller screw and nut now. And on this side, I'm just putting screwdrivers. I don't know if you can see that, but I just pushed some screwdrivers through here temporarily to hold it up while I get one side in place. And so now I can just pull the screwdriver back out and put these in their place. And that's how I was able to get these shelves in with one person doing it. If you have somebody else who can help hold the shelves, it'd be even easier. Okay, so all 3 shelves are now in. Just remember that you have the magnet on the whatever shelf you really want it to, but the one without the magnets here in the middle. And these are just all fastened by these smaller screw and nut that we're going in the side. So you're going to go ahead and just take a screwdriver and tighten all those down. You may have to reach in and hold the nut while you, on the other side, tighten it down with the screwdriver. So now we're going to hang the doors, and this is actually quite simple. So what you want to do is take the small screws, and you're going to put one up here on the top on both sides and one on the bottom. So each side should have one just on the top and the bottom. Now when you come over and look at the door, on the side it has an eyelet that we're going to feed this through and hang it on. These other screws will screw in after it's hanging with the 4 remaining screws for each side. So we're going to go ahead and take this door, and you're just going to put it over that screw and drop it down so it's somewhat hanging there. And you're going to do the same thing here on the bottom. So you just want to be careful not to drop it, but go. So now we can put the other screws in. As you see, they don't quite line up until you lift the door slightly. But go ahead and put your foot underneath the door and just lift it very gently and put in these other 4 screws into their slots. And we're going to do that same process on the other side. Okay, so we're all done. Now we hung both of those doors. It was a little bit tricky kind of getting them to line up. But anyway, you just want to, after you get them pretty much lined up on those screws, just make sure that the door is actually going to clear the top and it's not going to drag on the bottom. You may have to lift up and down as you're setting these and then tighten them. It does also make a difference if you're on a level surface or on a slant, so just make sure that you're having it level and pretty much where you want it, because it's heavy to move around once it's all assembled. Now you can go back in here and install some of the last screws that you have into the panels that are connecting the back panels. Some of them I found it's kind of hard to get them to line up, so I'm not really going to bother with some of those on the very back. But that's what you can do with all the remaining hardware. So as you can see, I also spun these, and so as you turn them clockwise when you're looking at them this way, it'll bring that foot down, and you want the front 2 feet to be taller than the back so that this automatically, swings shut instead of open. At least that's my preference. So anyway, there they are installed, and if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks for watching, guys.